Hi everyone, it's Claire here from Goddess Enchantments, and I was not expecting to make this video. I'd had a few messages in the last sort of 3-4 days about it, and then overnight my mailbox just blew up with people sending me articles and pictures and copies of tweets that they had taken a screenshot of and asking my opinion and am I going to do a video, and I was like, should I do a video, shan't I do a video? So then I was like, right, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'd heard some stuff about it, I'd already discussed it with my husband. I thought I'd have a look, go into this deeper before I decided what I wanted to say on the matter, and here we are. I'm just going to have a drink, excuse me. Probably should have done that first, but hey ho, I'm thirsty. So, some of you may have heard, some of you may not have heard. It really depends how into social media you are. Twitter's crazy at the moment. Ugh, I do not like Twitter. But Sephora has done kind of like a collaboration-y type thing with Pinrose, and they will be launching a kit in Sephora very, very soon called, hang on, Starter Witch Kit. Now, I think the name has really now in the coffin and took this in a direction all of its own, to be frank with you. If you haven't heard about it, it's basically a set of small perfumes, because Pinrose is a small perfume company. They've made like little, you know, the little squirty ones that you can put in your handbag and stuff of those. I think there's 9 of them. You get a white sage smudge stick, a rose quartz tumblestone, and a deck of tarot cards. And it's in a pastel box. Everything's very pastel and unicorny and fluffy. And like I said, it's called Starter Witch Kit. I keep on saying Witch's Starter Kit, but Starter Witch Kit. And obviously Sephora is a makeup brand company. They stock mostly high-end makeup brands. They are very big in America. In the UK, we don't really have it so much. You mostly get directed from the main Sephora website to the Paris, which is where they're from. So yes, that's where the problem started, with the announcement of the launch of this kit. So it's pushed a lot of buttons for a lot of people, and I think we need to look at it in a broader sense as well. So I am going to give you my opinion. Your opinion may differ. I cannot speak for other belief systems and stuff like that, which we will get into. But I'm also going to give you some facts about this situation, because this company has really been targeted. I went and had a look on their Instagram, and you know, I mean, they're deleting where they can, but it's unpleasant. Twitter's just unpleasant. There's loads of videos on YouTube. I've not watched any of them, but I'm guessing most of it is unpleasant. So, Pinrose. Here's some information on Pinrose. I have made some notes. Okay, so we're going to start with this kit before we branch out of it, okay? So, obviously, their Pinrose starter kit is going to be the Starter Witch Kit. It is $42 plus tax from Sephora. It is 9 perfumes, like I said, a sage stick, a rose quartz, and a tarot deck. Now, Pinrose is a very small company. It's run by 2 women. They make perfumes using sustainable ingredients and trying to be conscious of the environment where they can. They don't add parabens and things like that. They are vegan and cruelty free. And people are like, what business does a perfume company have coming out with this kind of kit? And what business does Sephora have with stocking it? So I'm going to be devil's advocate just for a moment here, so bear with me, okay? I went on the Pinrose website, and it's all very pastel. That's their colours, so I'm guessing that's why the box and the cards and everything is pastel. Everything is very pastel. Then you start looking through their website and there's a quiz to see what kind of perfume of theirs would suit you. And it's worth saying this witch kit is not on their website. There's, you know, nothing about it. This is just the perfumes they've had since they have started out. And you go and do a quiz to see which of their perfumes is the perfect one for you, which I don't really see how that could be accurate. But either way, I did it. Now you click on this quiz and you basically look at 2 different pictures before going on to the next one, which is another 2 different pictures. And it's things like looking at a forest of trees versus a beach and seafront, and you choose which one speaks to you. It's all very natural, earth-based, earth tones, things from nature. Then the last question that they ask you is what is your birth date, so they can take your zodiac sign into account with your perfume choice. Again, this is very faddy, but bear with me for a moment, okay? So I did all that, it told me my perfume, blah, 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 whatever. So moving on. Then I went over to their Instagram and had a look through the type of pictures and posts they've been doing on Instagram and went back to last year in December. Now they have always been posting photos of their perfumes with crystals. They have always posted pictures of crystals and gemstones. So this is obviously something they are interested in themselves, that they thought would be a good idea to incorporate into their business. The perfumes themselves are each related to a tarot card, hence why there's a tarot deck in the set. Now, in saying all of that, obviously it's something they're interested in. They have their own spiritual practices. I went looking for articles where we could get some information from them on where they're coming from with this kit. Which I found, and I'm going to read that to you. So this is directly from, her name's something Shunmate, okay, whatever. That's one of the names of the women that does this. So the Primrose Starter Witch Kit includes a step-by-step guide on how to create and cleanse your ceremonial space, charge your crystals, read your tarot cards, and anoint your fragrance. Now I want to stop there a moment. One of the massive things that these people are getting assaulted about is the fact that this kit is going to be available in Sephora. People don't have to have any knowledge. They're going to be buying tools they don't know how to use. Now, I do not have my hands on this kit, okay? I personally have no intention of buying it. If you want me to try and get hold of it, although from what I can see, it's going to be pretty difficult here in the UK. If you want me to try and get hold of it and see if what they're saying is true and how valid the information is, I can try and do that. But a lot of the stuff that's coming out is you're just giving people a smudge stick, you're just giving people a crystal, you're just giving people tarot cards. They're not going to know what to do with it. It's very faddy, it's going to sit on their shelves, you know, it's irresponsible to give out tools connected with other paths and not give information around it. Well, they have said themselves that it is going to come with a step-by-step guide. How good this guide is, I don't know. How thorough this guide is, I don't know. We will have to wait and see until someone unboxes one and says this is a great guide or this is the crappiest thing on the face of the planet, and it's written as if it's for an 11-year-old. So we don't know. Each fragrance is matched with a tarot card based on its notes, which allows a person to get to know a fragrance one-on-one and establish emotional connection with it, okay? It's a discovery kit for our fragrances as well. Doing a ceremony allows, they put her, that makes little sense. I mean, guys may buy this, that's whatever, that's a different issue. Doing a ceremony allows her to better engage with the fragrances and know them more and know how they feel about it. You could try a bunch of fragrances all at once, so this method allows her to try a new fragrance each time she picks a card, okay? So, on one hand, Now, you already know some of my views on this if you have been on my channel or anywhere in my groups or anything. On one hand, you could say technically the perfumes are anointing oils. They have been made with notes connected to the tarot. If these people know what they are doing, then, you know, there's some value in you work with your cards. Maybe you've pulled a certain card, you work in a certain card's energy. You use that fragrance to connect in more deeply with the card. If there is instructions on this, like they are saying there is in the kit, then it kind of negates the massive argument that's coming out against there not being any information on how to use these tools and it's very faddy, etc. Okay, so I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt here for a moment. But there are a couple of things that I think is very wrong with this kit. The name, for starters, Starter Witch Kit. It hit a lot of nerves for a lot of people. A lot of people saw it as, you know, something against their path or their religion, making fun of it, making light of it, because, you know, Wicca and paganism is growing at an exponential rate. It's one of the religions that's growing across America and other countries. You know, people are a lot more aware of it now. They're coming away from more traditional paths and they're looking for other things that suit them and that they feel called to. So calling it a witch kit, this kit has nothing to do with witchcraft or being a witch. I mean, literally nothing. Now, I understand these people getting like really upset about it. I understand the point of view. I think it's just faddy and crappy. I don't get that worked up about things like this. I look at it and I'm like, shocking shite, but there we are. But I do understand it, because this kit is not a representation of a Wiccan path, a pagan path, or the practice of witchcraft. There are many witches, etc., that do not use sage. There are many witches that don't read tarot. So how is this kit anything in relation to Wicca, witchcraft, and that practice? Let's face it, it's a marketing name. We have the new series of Charmed coming out. Personally think that's going to be shite, by the way. I like the original ones, but sidebar. So we have the new series of Charmed coming out. They're talking about doing something else with Buffy. There's a lot of programs heading more down that route at the moment. We're heading towards Halloween, which is particularly huge in America. So this is for them an apt time to use a name like that. Oh, buy a witchcraft kit. It's, you know, you can pick it up at Sephora. You haven't got to go anywhere creepy to buy it or anything like that. So, nothing to do with witchcraft, faddy name. Brought a lot of shite down on these people that really hadn't needed to be there. I mean, let's face it, short of the sage, which we will get to, if they had brought this kit out and, I don't know, called it like, I don't know, spiritual retreat kit or something, you know what I mean? Something really blah, something new agey, something blurry, something non-specific to do with that kind of thing, there probably wouldn't have been this amount of backlash. It would have slipped under the radar. Some people have been a bit, oh, it's faddy or whatever, but using the term starter witch kit has opened, woof, so many things. Okay, let's get to the sage. The other thing people are really worked up about is the white sage. Now, Californian white sage. If you know anything about white sage, you will know that it was originally a tool of the Native Americans, okay? Very sacred to their spiritual practice, very sacred to their ritual practice. So people tend to come out, and I must say a lot of the people I've seen come out against this have not been Native American and are somehow speaking on Native Americans' behalf, which I also do not agree with. But a lot of people have come out and said it's cultural appropriation. We should not be using white sage. White sage is for Native American people only and their sacred practice. Now, this is a whole, I mean, this is just a topic that, like, whoa, we could be speaking for hours about this. Now, my personal opinions on white sage, okay? I very much understand the Native American point of view and aspect of it. I know some Native Americans that actually live in the States. So, and I have to say, with the people that I know, even they are 50-50, okay? So you can't speak for an entire belief system from one person. Everybody within that, just like Christians will differ on their views, witches will differ on their views. So you cannot clump everyone into a box together. It just doesn't work. But I do understand when some of the Native American people and Native American friends will say to me, look, so much has been taken from us, and this is something very, very sacred. And from what I have heard, and again, I do not speak for Native American people. I want to make that very, very clear. I am only ever going to speak of my tiny little circle, because I have no right to be talking on everyone's behalf. But the dialogues that I have had with people is what upsets Native American people the most is what has happened to the sage and the disrespect that is shown to a very powerful plant medicine, okay? So I absolutely am on board with that. Now, from my point of view, as someone who is a practicing witch and who does use white sage, now wait, because I'm going to get there, okay? I feel that if you have thoroughly researched any tradition or culture, this does not just apply to Native American, this could be working with mantras, for example. There are arguments for you shouldn't work with Sanskrit mantras, or you shouldn't use a mala. There's like 100 different arguments. That's why this is such a broad topic, but the sage has really fired off. I think if you have researched that culture, if you have a genuine interest in that culture, and if you are going to use a tool from that culture mindfully and with respect and with protocol, and that plant teacher wants to work with you, because at the end of the day, I do believe it is on, if we're talking about plants, for example, it is on that plant. A plant won't always work with you. It doesn't, you know, you can swish around some sage as much as you want, but if you have no respect for it, it doesn't have to clear your space. So there are very different ways of working with all manner of tools from all manner of cultures. Now, if you are respectful of that, if you are coming at it from a respectful place, I have no problem using white sage myself. However, white sage is decimated in California. Absolutely decimated. It's become so popular on the New Age market, and this is another thing that people are very upset about, that sage is in this kit. It has been decimated by people who own Etsy stores, who own their own little stores, who want to sell it at markets, who have seen it as a quick way to make some dollars, pounds, whatever. And they don't know anything about the plants. White sage plants are extremely temperamental in the fact that you cannot harvest from them for a few years. When you do harvest from the mother plant, you can only take so much. You cannot go out like you can with, say, a rosemary and really harshly cut that rosemary and it will just come back. You will kill the plant. So when people go out to harvest it and they're going out and they're like, ooh, white sage bushes, and they're like snipping it all off and it's down to this tiny little bit, and they're like, oh, that'll grow back. No, they've killed it. So it's a massive, massive problem in California. And it affects a lot of people. It affects Native American people. It affects people that work with these plants on a very conscious level, okay? So I do not stock white sage in my shop because I cannot afford to buy in bulk enough from 2 particular sage farms that I know of and have communicated with over in the States that actually grow it very consciously. It is grown organically. They have rituals that they work at specific times of the moon. All sorts of things and protocols are in place to grow these sages, and they harvest from them in such a mindful manner. And I would not have a problem with stocking that sage, but it would just be too expensive for me to ship in and sell to you. So I buy personally my white sage from them as a customer. The same with my white sage essential oil, okay? Because I am not going to buy sage where I don't know where it's come from. These big companies are, let's face it, probably just buying it from anywhere. So we don't know. And the other thing is I've grown my own. By the way, if you're in the UK, you can do it. It is bloody hard work. But I nurture this sage. I have a white sage, big now, okay? Still not ready to harvest from, couple years old, comes in the winter. There's a lot of dialogue there. You know, very carefully looked after is this plant. It is like a baby. And I feel there's nothing wrong for me personally with my views of working with sage in that way. But there are a lot of problems with the white sage market. There are a lot of problems culturally with white sage. People will agree and people will disagree. And you can't come online and speak for all Native American people. You can't come online and speak for everyone that's not Native American. You can only speak of yourself, and you can only also be very conscious of the plant, its customs, its traditions. Does it want to work with you? A lot of these people using white sage, to be honest, are probably swinging it around them and nothing's happening, because that plant's like, who the hell are you to treat me like that? So that's upset a lot of people. I think that was probably not a good idea to put in there. They could have put any other kind of smudge stick. And as a perfume company, I think using an aura spray, if they wanted to go down this route, would have been better. Nothing to do with witches and witches starter kits, but hey ho. So this kit, if we ignore the name and we took out the sage, and they truly do provide this step-by-step guide, their own words, that's in it, I don't have a problem with. But there's lots of aspects of it I do have a problem with. However, we also have to put this into perspective for a moment, okay? Now, Sephora is very big. It's very known about, very shopped at. Every single beauty guru on YouTube shops at Sephora. All of the big beauty people, you know, try and get their products. If they're coming out products, they try and get them into Sephora. So it's a big thing, which is why we know about it. But there are companies that have been using spiritual aspects way before this one and doing kits. There are other companies coming out with these kits now alongside this kit, and they're not getting the abuse that this company is. Not that anyone should be getting abuse, but you have to look at the bigger picture. This is not one company that for the first time ever has come out with a witch kit that's associated with skincare or perfumes or whatever, and some form of new age metaphysical stuff. So I have notes because I have a memory like a sieve, and plus I was working, and this was like an in-between. This is my work break, by the way. Claire ranting on YouTube. So Fourth Ray Beauty, if you know like Colourpop and stuff like that, they're owned by like a mother company called Seed, I think it is. And that company also owns this new range that's coming out called Fourth Ray Beauty. And it's more of, they're marketing it as holistic. Again, we're back in pastels, by the way, pastel pink everywhere. But they have a box coming out that does include a sage stick, as well as crystals and other tools that we don't really know about yet, along with their entire skincare range, and that's $150. It's the same thing, they're just not naming it anything to do with witchcraft, but it's the same tools. So if I understand if you have a problem with the witchcraft name of things, I have a problem with that, but it is the same tools. Dior. Now this isn't new. Dior did a tarot range, and they turned, a lot of people have been saying they shouldn't use tarot in this way. They've turned tarot into something pretty and pastel. By the way, there's hundreds of tarot decks out now with everybody's interpretation of it, going from pastel to made from blood. Do you know what I mean? So you can't really have a go about that, I think. But they have a gown, as they like to call it. I'm going to be common and call it a dress, for $1,200 with a tarot design on it. And they used some of the major arcana to create a range of bags and t-shirts. Really, really expensive, using tarot. So, oh, and then my favourite feel, Nordstrom. You're going to have heard of that, especially if you're American. So Nordstrom, interestingly enough, sell all the beauty and the makeup and all this stuff. So if you go to the brushes and tools section of the website, what would you expect to see there? I mean, if you go on Beauty Bay, which is in the UK, and you go to their brushes section, there's brushes, and tools section, you've got some sponges, some beauty blenders, you know what I mean? Not in Nordstrom. They're doing it all very differently. They have crystal sets, okay? Now, it's a little bag, and you get 5 tiny tumble stones. Some are small rough pieces, okay? Quite common stones, nothing fabulous and rare. 5. How much? Okay. They start at £38. I'm not sure what that is in dollars, so probably like 40 something dollars, and go up to £43. You don't get instructions of use with those. The new age market is like heading over into skincare and beauty, because they're making a connection. If you read some of the articles that the people that make these products say, they're like, oh, we're trying to take a more holistic approach and meld the two and find people that maybe wouldn't have come to us before, sort of thing. So it's a lot of marketing. They also have a good vibe set. Now, for those of you against the white sage, it is £12.40, and you get white sage, Palo Santo, and a quartz point. So it's not just this company profiting off of white sage and using white sage in a disrespectful manner. It is, widely been going on. There's a ton of other companies. I'm sure yourself, you know of many, you can find many. So I think you have to put it a bit in perspective. Yes, is it annoying? Yes. Is it kind of unethical with the whole like witch name, like witch starter thing, or itchy nose? Yes. Do I disagree with that? Yes. Do I have problems with them putting white sage in there? Yes. But there is a market for it, and for as many people that will buy these kits when they come out in Sephora, they will buy them because it's a fad, and they'll stick their little rose quartz on the side and it will look all pretty, and they might look through the instructions and think, oh, I don't know about that, because they might be like Christian or whatever. Although I have to say, Christians, by the way, practice ritual, go for tarot readings. It depends on your individual path. So the one good thing I'm going to say about this kit, because I think you can't be 100% negative. I don't think this company has come out with this to upset the Wiccan, pagan and witchcraft community. I don't think that was their intention. I think their marketing team sat down with them and they came up with something catchy that fitted into the time of year it was coming out, and something that's very trendy at the moment on social media and TV. And they came up with a really dud name that was going to upset a lot of people. I do not think it was intentional. Do I think that the people that run this company that make the perfume have crystals in their home and work with tarot? Yes, probably. So it's not like you've got very corporate people that have come from, it's not like a huge brand, you know, that's run by this corporate person that goes to work in their suit every day and has a very strict belief system or doesn't believe in anything, and they've gone and brought this out. I think these people genuinely like crystals, like tarot, and use white sage, and it was a good marketing idea in their mind and they went and did it. So I really do think that is what's happened. But as I was saying before, I had like a minor off Claire goes again moment. For as many people that buy this kit, never use the cards, never use the sage, and sit the rose quartz on the side to gather dust, this also does give an opportunity to people who perhaps do have an interest, not necessarily in Wicca, paganism or witchcraft, but are drawn to tarot, that are drawn to crystals or more new age aspects, but would not feel comfortable going and finding a local new age witchy shop and walking in to buy stuff, that would not feel confident in choosing things to buy or knowing where to start. So for those people to be able to go into somewhere like Sephora, where there's like makeup, everyone's shopping for makeup, if you pick up this kit in Sephora and buy it, no one's going to look over at you funny and go, a witchcraft kit? Oh, you know, something funky, get her out. It's just not. It's going to be normal. It's made the norm in there. No one's going to notice. You pick that up, you go and pick up, I don't know, some YSL, you know, you go and pick up something else, some Dior, put it on your basket and you check out, no one looks at you none the wiser. You go home, you open your tarot deck, who knows how good that's going to be, I don't know, like I say, haven't got my hands on one. If there is instructions in there, which is my hope that they are not lying with the step-by-step guide, I think to myself, why would they lie? My hope is it's researched well and it's done properly. We don't know yet. But say it is, or even just say it gives you an overview. Someone may sit down at home, try out the perfumes, try out working with a crystal, use some of the little rituals they say is going to be in there, and think, you know what, this path is for me. I really do like this. I would like to explore this more. And then they'll go on to find better sources of information. They'll go on to find people that, you know, aren't selling something in Sephora. They'll be able to move their practice on, but they'll have gained that little bit of confidence being able to go and buy something that maybe in their family would not normally be accepted. Maybe, you know, there's some judgment around that. You don't know people's situation, and this could be a way in for someone who for years has wanted to explore tarot and stuff, but now they can be like, well, you know, it came with perfumes. And then they can sit there having a look through it, because I might as well look at it. I paid for it. It came with the perfumes I wanted to try. And it's a way in. So we can spend our time being negative and angry and arguing amongst ourselves on, should this be used? Should that be in this kit? Should it be teamed with this? But at the end of the day, it's been going on forever. I have seen really expensive face creams infused with rose quartz, infused with black tourmaline. And I'm like, just get your face cream, people. Take your crystal, wash it, because you want to make sure it's sterile. You don't want to put germs in your face cream. Cleanse, charge, and program it in your face cream. You have infused your face cream for a fraction of the price. Little side tip there. But it's been going on for years. I think the name of the kit is truly what sparked all of this. And obviously there are some very strong views around white sage, and everyone is entitled to their opinion there, and you are going to feel different depending on what your background is, depending on what your current path is, and depending how you work. And it's okay for people to disagree. It is okay. But all this really bad negativity and hate, we can put all of our energy into that and become negative ourselves. Or we can be like, you know what? I don't agree with the name. It's faddy. It's crappy. You know, maybe it's pricey. I don't know. I've never tried the perfumes. Who knows? But even if just 10% of people who purchased that kit took something from it, found it helpful, and then went on to find the spiritual path that suits them and to gain better knowledge, but it was just a little doorway in, a little sneak preview, if you like, regardless of where it came from, and if it's pastel, which people have really took issue to, the colour, by the way. I'm like, okay, it's pastel. I mean, it's not my thing. I'm not really a fan of pastels. I like black and dark purple. Oh, and green. Yeah, not really pastels. But I'm very, very fair, so they wash me out, and then I just like look ill. So yeah, so that's not really my thing. But that is my 2 cents on it. There's pros, there's cons, there's your personal view. If you would like to comment down below, do so, absolutely, share, but please keep it nice. If people start bickering stuff, I will just delete and block or turn off the comments or something. There's no need for it. But let's have an educated discussion about it and, you know, try and raise the vibe a bit. Let's try not to be negative Nancy's on Twitter attacking companies and posting some pretty vile stuff. It is shocking, considering these people are like, oh, I'm so high vibe, and you know, I work on this and work on that, I don't do negativity, I don't allow negativity. And then you see what they write and you're like, does someone need to take a moment there? Yes. So that is my thoughts. I hope you are having a great day. If you are watching this video because you are interested in that kit from Sephora, and like I said, it's an entranceway in for you that you can buy it without alarming your husband or your like girlfriend or whatever it is, buy the kit. You'll get some perfumes, you know, with the sage. Please look into it, be respectful, you know. It's a plant teacher that has a lot of wisdom and power. It's not something you should just be wafting around yourself in your house and, you know, ooh, I'm clearing my space. How fashionable am I? Like a lot of celebrities at the moment. But yeah, so be respectful of that and mindful of that. But the rest of it, I see no harm. Ignore the title. It's definitely not a witch kit. But there we are. So that's it from me. Have a wonderful day. Subscribe, like this video, go see my other videos, which are not ranty, and well, maybe they're ranty sometimes. I don't know. You decide for yourself. Come over to my closed group and see us there. I'm crystal shopping this weekend and they get first pick. Check out the website. Bye for now.